Need to pass your CSEC CAPE exams to get that dream job or to qualify for university?
Tonight, questions of accountability are again taking center stage as the Caribbean Court of Justice, CCJ, comes under scrutiny over allegations, raising questions about the court's handling of a controversial matter. What does this mean for confidence in the region's highest court? And should the CCJ be moving more quickly to address those concerns? Also tonight, relief for students at the University of Technology, Jamaica, as negotiations between the Student Council and University Administration produce reductions in some fees and a lower tuition increase for the upcoming academic year. But how much will students actually save, and can the agreement deliver longer-term relief? Plus, Jamaica's demerit point system is set for review, with road deaths and traffic offenses remaining a major concern. Taxi operators want changes to how the system works, and fatherhood in Jamaica is also on the front burner as family conflicts and questions about parental responsibility continue to make headlines. We ask, what support is really available for fathers, and what role do men play in building stronger families? I'm Tyrone Reed, and this is Lead Story. Thanks for staying with us. The Caribbean Court of Justice, CCJ, was established to provide the region with a final court of appeal and to strengthen confidence in justice within the Caribbean. But tonight, the court itself is under scrutiny. Questions are being raised about allegations before the court and whether the CCJ has moved with sufficient urgency to address them. The issue has now generated calls for greater accountability from the region's judicial institution. King's Counsel Peter Champagne, a noted defense attorney, he joins us now. Top of the afternoon to you, King's Counsel. Welcome to Lead Story.
Thanks for having me. Good afternoon to you and your viewers and listeners.
Indeed, always a pleasure to have you with us. Let me begin by asking your take, King's Counsel, on what's unfolding at the CCJ.
Well, what is unfolding is very unfortunate, but there are allegations, and they are just that. And to that extent, we should eagerly await the process, and by that I mean seeking redress from the Regional Legal Services Commission, Regional Judicial Legal Services Commission in relation to this. This is a body that has been established that treats with the whole issue of judicial code of conduct. And I think that it would be unwise to go further into what are allegations and come to conclusions before this process is allowed to be ventilated at that level.
Who heads this Regional Judicial Services Commission that you mentioned, King's Counsel?
As I understand it, it is the president of the CCJ. Now, what should obtain at this point in time? A judge cannot be one in his own cause. So there may have to be some exception in terms of the treatment of this matter. But it is the body that would deal with something like this. And as again, I'm saying that it should be treated with some alacrity.
Does this raise a question then about having the president of the CCJ head this regional body as well? Because if the questions being raised are being asked about the president who also chairs this regional body, then perhaps this is an argument for a separation of the two posts?
It may be a case where he would have to recuse himself from sitting and allow the process to operate without his involvement, or certainly without his chairmanship. I don't see that as being an impossible task. So it doesn't take away from the fact that the matter should be ventilated there.
When allegations are made against an institution as important as the CCJ, what is the appropriate process for investigating and addressing those concerns without undermining public confidence in the court itself? And I ask that question against the backdrop of what you've just said about the Regional Judicial Services Commission, but internally, should that have been the avenue taken by the justices on the bench?
Tyrone, you have put it very well, and the answer to that is yes. It is not appropriate for, I would want to say, judges in these circumstances to be dealing with the matter where it can be dealt with in an institutionalized way. But I would quickly add that these are supposedly leaked emails. I don't expect that or anticipated that. I don't anticipate that it would have been a case where there was an expectation that it would have been brought to the public's attention. So it's a balancing act. At the end of the day, it's really for that particular body to deal with this matter, because when you look at the composition and the structure of the CCJ in terms of its internal operation, it allows for this kind of matter to be treated in the way before the Regional Judicial and Legal Services Commission.
And of course, you know, and again, I stay on this, but I want to ask you about holding judges and courts accountable, because this particular situation has raised that question again. Yes. How do we hold judges and courts accountable? We the people, that is, not necessarily a Judicial Services Commission. How do the public, yes, that foot the bill for these courts, how do we hold these individuals accountable?
Well, I take it that the question is a broad question, and I can answer in terms of our Jamaican experience. We have, as you alluded to earlier, a Judicial Services Commission, and that is where it starts. You also have a Judicial Code of Conduct. There are those at the private bar and indeed public bar who will want to say that it is one that operates without any real teeth, but it is in existence. And of course, if there is a complaint in relation to a particular judicial officer, depending on the level, you can always seek to have audience or write the Chief Justice for an intervention. But at the end of the day, it is really the Services Commission, the Judicial Services Commission, that would deal with matters such as these.
I listened with shock. I was quite stumped today listening to an interview elsewhere on this matter. And the person being interviewed, known regionally, was basically saying that the CCJ need not address this matter in a fulsome way. Yeah. And I was shocked by those comments, which is why I'm asking you for your view on this. Well, I think
you're referring to Mr. Peter Wickham in terms of his analysis from Barbados.
Yes, I heard him, exact interview I was referencing.
Yes, and I don't share, well, what he said, as I understood it, is that, you know, we shouldn't be surprised that the learned judge in this instance has not addressed some 15-point questions that were put to him. And quite frankly, I agree with him, because there is a process. Judges are not expected to go point to point with questions that are asked and answer questions publicly. It just doesn't happen that way. In Jamaica, for instance, you have the Court Administrative Division, Services Division, that deals with issues such as these. A judge is not expected to interface that way with the public, especially where, against the backdrop, you have an institutionalized body that deals with issues concerning judicial misconduct or code of conduct or matters of this nature. It's just not done. So to that extent, I would agree with the comments expressed by Mr. Wickham. What he did say, however, was that it was a selective kind of criticism, and I don't share that view as it relates to dress code. It seems to me that this issue goes much farther than what is being said about dress code, and we need to have it ventilated as quickly as possible.
All right, because and the word that immediately comes to mind, Peter Champagne, is anachronistic. Because yes. Can we continue to have judges operate like this in an information era where yes. They are not coming to the public they serve and giving a defense of their decisions or answering yes. questions? Shouldn't that not, we can't ask the politicians to hold them accountable because that may lead to the politicization of the justice that is being dispensed, but shouldn't they be required to come to the public and give an account of their stewardship?
But can I tell you, Tyrone, I think you're being a bit unfair in this sense, certainly in terms of the Jamaican context. Because in recent times, you will agree with me that some important decisions have been broadcast live, streamed live. Criminal matters of a civil nature. I remember the NITS bill. I remember another case involving a serious murder case, and even the one that I participated in terms of the Silvera matter recently. All of those came live, and there was an extensive explanation as to a justification as to why the decision was being made in the way that it was made. So we have that, and we have come a far way. And as I said before, we also have the Court Administrative Services Division that deals with matters like these, where there's a greater awareness and a greater public information being disseminated. So I don't think saying that it is anachronistic is necessarily correct in the present set of circumstances now.
And I wasn't necessarily limiting my comments to Jamaica, the Jamaican experience. Yes, we've been given a few slices, and forgive me if I'm asking for the entire loaf, King's Counsel. But I was really talking about the CCJ and that position taken by the person who was being interviewed today. And he's basically saying, look, the CCJ and the court has no business really answering these questions. Yes. It's already out there. Yes. There are questions being raised about how the court conducts itself. And Peter Champagne, we're going to have to come back with you after the break. But just to that point, the questions are there, Peter Champagne. Folks are asking what's really happening, because this was an issue about dress code. And it just exploded into an issue now talking about how panels are set up and the influence that is being brought to bear on the decisions that are being taken. And so for that issue to lead to this would give any reasonable person a question as to say what's really happening at the CCJ. And for that, I think that they owe the people of the region an explanation. A proper response would be to call a media conference and have the questions answered, don't you think? I think we're up on the break. Can I take your response after this? Let's take Peter Champagne, King's Counsel, his response after this.
CAPE exams to get that dream job or to qualify for university? Then Distinction College is the school for you. We have locations in Kingston, Spanish Town, St. Elizabeth, and Ocho Rios. Start day, evening, and Saturday classes this coming term and sit CSEC CAPE exams for January's resit or May-June. Maths, law, science, English. We have the lowest school fees. Register before the end of the month and win an entire term free. Call us at 354-8560.
Watagwan. Mondays, Wednesdays, and Fridays at 8 a.m., 1:30 p.m., and 10 p.m. on CVM TV.
Jamaica's unemployment rate has fallen to 3.3%, down from 13.2% in 2016. Our government's continued focus on job creation is delivering real results. We are building Jamaica. The time by the Office of the Prime Minister is...
Welcome back. Thank you so very much for sticking and staying with us right here inside Lead Story. We are drilling down into this leaked email scandal rocking the Caribbean Court of Justice. Some may say it's a saga, not quite a scandal just yet. We have with us King's Counsel Peter Champagny. And you were going to give me a response to what I was asking just before the break, Peter Champagny. Isn't the proper thing that the people who make up the bench, that they should come forward and address the people of the region, if this is truly a regional court, and given what has come out, because this is talking about the quality of the jurisprudence that is being delivered by the CCJ. No less than a media conference addressing this matter in a fulsome way and facing questions should suffice. At least that's my thinking as a journalist. What say you?
I think we are singing from the same hymn book, but we are not necessarily on the same page. I say that because for an individual judge in any jurisdiction to come out in public and speak point to point on a radio interview or otherwise, or media press conference, it's simply not done for obvious reasons. But I share your view that given certain prejudice that are innate in terms of the CCJ, that it is incumbent upon the CCJ to have a robust arm that deals with issues, issues such as these, where you have a media arm or a public relations arm that would provide greater clarity and greater information as to how we move forward in a situation like this. And this is where it's lacking. And because we don't have that, then such a situation as now what obtains provides fodder for those who would want to say that this is the reason why we should not abandon the Judicial Committee of the Privy Council. So I agree with you, Tyro, that yes, there should be greater transparency, greater accountability insofar as what is unfolding, but do not expect, and it would be improper for the individual judge or judges to come out in a media setting to give an account as to
why should it be improper in an information age, King's Counsel? This is the age, an information age, where people are demanding accountability from those that preside over them or preside over institutions of note. Why should it be irresponsible for the bench to come forward and say these emails are in the public domain, it is causing the public trust in this institution to be affected, and that is why we're here? Certainly, it might be something that is not necessarily a thing that usually happens, but shouldn't that what we demand?
Well, that it doesn't happen is no reason to say that it should never ever happen. I think that's what you're saying.
Absolutely.
But I can only deal with what is before me in terms of what is the practice and why it is that judges do not interface one-on-one. If you do that, you're going to invite a number of situations that are uncontrollable. But I do share your view that there needs to be greater public awareness in terms of the circumstances surrounding this issue and other issues. Justice must not be one that is, seen as unattainable in terms of information and so on. So I agree with you to that extent. But as it is now, we have Regional Judicial Legal Services Commission, and that is the body to which matters like these must be resolved. And after that, I do believe that the public should be advised as to what the outcome of that meeting is,
CVM's erudite editor-at-large, Nika Lewis, had an interview with Marley Malahu Ford today, the former Minister of Legal and Constitutional Affairs, And she put a question to her that I'd love to get a reaction from you to King's Counsel. Let's have a watch.
How does this controversy affect the long-standing argument that Jamaica should move away from the Privy Council and make the CCJ its final court of appeal?
Again, if you look on those who have weighed in on the matter, you would see that this issue has come up already. Again, I say, doesn't look good, doesn't help, because court is not coming out looking good, the judges are not coming out looking good.
The court isn't looking good, the judges aren't coming out looking good. Your response to that?
To say otherwise would be to be insincere. It's not looking good. It's unfortunate. It needs to be addressed. And it's not just an issue, as Mr. Wickham was reported to have said, dealing with the issue of a dress code. It's far more serious than that, and it does not look good. And that is why I have repeatedly said that it needs to be dealt with by the Commission, and it needs to be dealt with alacrity, and we need to have some resolution as soon as possible, because once it festers, once it remains as is, then the questions are going to be aplenty in terms of, whether or not there is real viability for us to join the CCJ as our apex court. The fact of the matter is that there are only 5 countries of the 12, I believe, that are part of this, where it is their final court, and even the fact that the headquarters is in Trinidad, and Trinidad has not seen it fit to have it as its final court of appeal, apex court, I should say, is again another concern. So when you add all of those things to this present situation, it doesn't look good.
There's several times I've had the privilege of interviewing you, King's Counsel. I'm not certain if I've ever asked you pointedly whether or not you think Jamaica should accede to the appellate jurisdiction of the CCJ and move away from the Privy Council. Where do you come down on that issue?
I believe that we in Jamaica have some of the best and brightest minds in the Caribbean. And that is evidenced by the fact that ever so often our judges are called upon to serve in other jurisdictions. That is where I start. The Cayman Islands, Turks, and other countries, the Bahamas, and even Belize. We have persons from our jurisdiction serving there. Having said that, it is my view that there is no basis why we can't have our own apex court and have it here in Jamaica. We have the expertise, we have the ability, and it can happen. And for those who are concerned about the fact that we are a small society and the fact that there may be political interference, there is nothing to say that we can't invite other judges from Australia or other countries, New Zealand, or other countries of the Commonwealth to sit in the minority, of course, as a perceived safeguard, if you will, in terms of those who want to say that we are not fit to govern ourselves in terms of judicial decisions in a final way. So that is my thinking on the matter. I do believe that is a third option, a viable option, and it is one that would certainly give greater independence to, in every sense of the word, to our system.
It seems our views are aligning on one more issue, because I gather that's where my thinking is also, a final appellate court based right here in Jamaica. But would I gather many Jamaicans could see you heading up such a court?
I didn't hear that. The reception is poor.
I gather many Jamaicans could see you heading up such a court.
The reception is poor again.
Touche. Council will not be drawn on that one, but I'll make the statement anyway. I still get that many Jamaicans might see you heading up such a court. Quite frankly, if we could wrap this up, I know you've been with us perhaps longer than we had asked you initially, but thank you for that. Where do we go from here to ensure that this isn't the scandal that some people are theorizing that it will be?
We need to move post haste. We need to deal with it without any delay. As I said, the Regional Judicial Legal Services Commission must be put in action. There cannot be any delay, and it needs to be resolved as quickly as possible. It goes without saying. The longer this remains as is, the greater it is going to be in terms of damage to the CCJ and its reputation.
Is it too early to call for those who are saying, this is why we shouldn't accede to the appellate jurisdiction of the CCJ? These are the fears that we have. Is it too early to call?
You're always going to have that kind of expression, and those who would be happy for this, and to say this is the case in point as to why we shouldn't go in that direction. But I don't think that it necessarily is conclusive of the matter as a determinant factor to say that we should not go there at all. It's cause for concern, yes, but I don't think it's an absolute position that has, made it irreversible.
And I hope the reception is good on this one. There are concerns from the opposition about moving in a phased manner to becoming a republic. They want the government to move away from the Privy Council and remove the king as head of state in one fell swoop. They want it to be done on a phased basis. Do you think this issue of the CCJ or the country's final appellate court, do you think that should prevent us from removing the king as the country's head of state, doing it in a phased way?
I don't think so. It can be done in a phased way. Barbados did it, well, not in a phased way, but I don't see an issue with it either way, quite frankly.
The King's Counsel, Peter Champagne, thank you so much for the time and the thoughts, as usual. We appreciate it, sir.
You're most welcome, sir.
Indeed. All right, that's where we have to leave this CCJ scandal saga, whichever you please, but let's see what happens in the coming days as to whether or not the court will be held accountable to the people of the region it serves. I'm Tyrone Reed. This is Lead Story. We take a break and come back with more.
Delve deep into the issues. We'll take you beneath the surface.
Greetings and salutations. My name is Orville Higgins, and it's another edition of Fan Central.
Talking to the people at the heart of the top sporting stories. Hear from your favorite sportsmen and women and the administrators who work tirelessly to make it all happen. It's live sports talk.
I've written an entire article.
Yeah.
Looking at all the major issues every Tuesday at 9 p.m. It's Fan Central.
Keep on believing in the power of the feeling. Whatever you want, take a chance. Jamaica, make we do the right thing. Make we live good today for a better tomorrow. Talk it out. Don't fight it out. The time by the Ministry of National Security is
6:30.
Welcome back. Thank you so very much for sticking and staying with us. This is Lead Story. I'm Tyrone Reed. Now, Jamaica's demerit point system was introduced to make road users more accountable for traffic offenses and ultimately help save lives on the nations. Have him on in a few ticks. But this whole situation about what should really happen with the point system are these taxi operators, many of whom Jamaicans say, they are some of the worst drivers on the nation's roads. Is it that they're just calling for a kicking of the can down the road so that they can continue driving like the menace that many of them are on the nation's streets? And am I saying all taxi operators like that? Absolutely not, but certainly too many of them are. So we are hoping to be joined in this segment discussing the demerit point system, which the ministry says should come on stream fully by October 1. I've seen some videos with folks complaining about what could lead to demerit points, the simple things they're saying that could lead to demerit points. But the truth is we need to bring things in order on the nation's streets. And if a zero tolerance approach is what is going to bring about that change, all of us as right-thinking Jamaicans should support that. Among some of the questions we are hoping to ask the Lorraine Finnegan is, why delay any longer? That is one of the pressing questions that we want to ask this taxi association boss. And we also would like to ask Mr. Finnegan, what are the main concerns that the operators are having with the current system that ought to be operationalized on October 1? It's been quite some time, yes? Why are these concerns being raised right now? So we're hoping to be joined by Lorraine Finnegan. He heads up the All Voice Taxi Association. Hopefully we'll be able to be joined by him soon. Studio, is he available now, or we still don't have him? All right, we still don't have Mr. Finnegan. What do the ordinary Jamaicans in the street, what do they think about delaying any further? Is there a need for a review of the current demerit point system? Is there a need for a review? Many Jamaicans will tell you absolutely not, and that we need to hit the ground running come October 1. Yes, and if you don't want to lose points, just ensure that you read what's in the law and you ensure that you are on the right side of the law. It can't be that we continue to kick this down the road any longer. And of course, those who are in road safety would tell you that this system can't come soon enough. Of so many years, over the past several years, we see Jamaica going past that dreaded 300 mark in terms of the number of road fatalities, largely avoidable deaths, violent deaths in the country. And of course, those are things that need to be fixed. So we wanted to get to Mr. Finnegan. We're still having a little difficulty with him joining us. Hopefully he'll be able to jump on and be with us soon. But we'd love to hear your thoughts. We're streaming live on our YouTube channel, so please go on. Let's hear your thoughts in the comments section. What do you think should happen? Should there be a pause in the implementation of this demerit point system, this national demerit point system? Should we delay it until, let's say, the calendar year 2027? Should that be what takes place? Those are some of the questions. Lorraine Finnegan, I gather he might be with us now. Top of the afternoon to you, Lorraine Finnegan. We're hearing you, but not so clearly. Go ahead, Mr. Finnegan, stay with us.
Yeah, I'm here.
Wonderful. Thank you so very much for joining. What are you really calling for, Mr. Finnegan? Are you calling for a delay in the implementation of this demerit point system?
Tyrone, are you hearing me?
Yes, I'm hearing you, Mr. Finnegan. Are you hearing us?
Yeah, clearly.
Yes. Are you calling for a delay in the implementation of the demerit point system?
Yeah, we are asking for a delay in it, but just for the record, we have not been asking for the delay just now. We had sent a submission to the Minister of Transportation from as far back as 2024. We did that submission on the 2nd of June, 2024, asking for the non-movable offenses in the Road Traffic Act that attract demerit points, that the demerit points be removed from those. So now that we have reached a stage where the minister have announced in June of this year that the implementation date would be the 1st of October 2026, I personally have written to the minister and tell him of the concerns that we have. One of the concerns is that we don't believe that the court is in a position to dispose of 1.1 million tickets in 90 days. And so we are asking for the re-implementation of night court and Saturday court. The second thing we ask for is that the demerit points that attract the non-movable offenses, those demerit points be removed. And our third concern is, come October 1, when the implementation takes place, where the minister is hoping that we would have used the 90-day window of opportunity to dispose of our outstanding tickets, we still have nowhere to park within the KMTR and within the town centers across Jamaica. We have nowhere to legally sit down and pick up our passengers. So we were asking for those issues to be addressed before the implementation. The response that I got from the minister was in about 4 or 5 words. Your concerns will be addressed. Subsequently to that response from the minister,
yes,
the minister went to Parliament, I think about 3 weeks or 4 weeks ago. Subsequently to going to Parliament, he had a press conference, and he has done several mainstream media interviews where he stated clearly that he has put a task force together to revisit the entire demerit point system and to report back to him in September.
All right, but you keep mentioning non-movable offenses, Mr. Finnegan. What are some of these non-movable offenses you're referencing?
Stop in a manner likely to obstruct traffic.
Why would any well-thinking system not have that in as a demerit point?
Stop in a manner likely. The law is charging you for an offense that you didn't commit. Likely to obstruct.
So what should it say?
Failure to stop.
But what should it say then? All right, let's drill down into it. What should it say, Mr. Finnegan?
No, I am not the lawmaker here to say what it should say.
No, but clearly you're having an issue with what it says now. So I'm asking you, what should it say?
And I am saying to you, I cannot determine what it should say. Our concern is, why should you charge for an offense that you did not commit?
All right. If they amend it to say you are obstructing traffic,
no, there's a law that says. No, there's a law that says obstructing traffic. We don't have a problem with that one.
So if they keep that one and remove the one that says likely, that clause that says likely to obstruct traffic, you'd be okay with that?
Yes.
All right. Which other?
Now, all the lights.
Give me another non-movable.
All the lights, the headlights and the tail lights, the indicator, they attract demerit points.
Why shouldn't those things attract demerit points?
Because light won't give you an indication that it's going to stop work. We don't have a problem with the fines for the lights. But why should you be penalized to the extent of losing your driver's license through demerit points for an electrical fault that is beyond your control?
But Mr. Finikin, isn't that inconsistent on your part and the part of your association, though? Because if you accept that this is enough moment for you to pay a fine, why wouldn't you be okay with the demerit points?
The demerit points, Tyrone, is a system that is going to cause you to lose your license after accumulating 10 or more demerit points.
Which some of your members deserve.
And we are saying...
Which some of your members deserve, Mr. Finikin.
No, sir. No, sir, Tyrone. The offenses that are considered to be reckless, careless, and dangerous, those should attract demerit points. Not offenses when the vehicle not moving.
But your members are notoriously driving a reckless and dangerous manner. And when I say your members, I'm not limiting it. No, I'm not limiting it to all voices. I'm just talking about taxi operators in general. It appears all of them go to the same school to learn how to drive poorly.
No, Sir Tyrone. And let me tell you something. I say the media, and I repeat myself, the media, the government of Jamaica, the state agency continue to cauterize the entire sector for the bad behavioral pattern of somewhere about 11% of the sector. It is not all of our PP operators, Sir Tyrone, is behaving in the way that the media continue to cauterize us.
Mr. Finikin,
the majority of us are driving within the confines of the law.
Mr. Finikin, that may very well be true, but the regularity with which we see taxi operators breaking the road traffic laws, you can't blame people for drawing that conclusion, quite frankly.
Yeah, I'm not blaming people. I'm blaming people like you.
No, you're blaming people like me for speaking out against the poor driving on the road? You're breaking up, Mr. Finikin. We're losing you there. Yeah, the connection is a bit poor there with Lorraine Finikin. He heads up the All Voice Taxi Association. Mr. Finikin, let's try one more time. Let's see if we're hearing you now. Mr. Finikin? Go ahead.
I'm here.
Yes, we lost you there. The connection got a bit unstable.
Yes, so I am saying, Sir Tyrone.
Mm-hmm. It seems we're going to take the break, but we're going to try to reconnect with Mr. Finikin. Now, when we come back, I want to put it to him. I want to put it to Mr. Finikin that it's people like him why some of these people who masquerade on the road as taxi operators. They're the reasons why they are driving so poorly consistently and continuously, because they're not being held to account. We'll take a break right here and come back with more.
State-of-the-art security solutions like our new Total Connect smart home automation system that gives you 24/7 access to control your appliances, lights, cameras, and doors using your smartphone, tablet, or PC. As the most trusted electronic security company in Jamaica, Hawkeye has the fastest response times to get to you when you need us most. Trust Hawkeye's Total Connect. Hawkeye, securing what matters most.
Me and the stylist, no scam and not style me.
From the market to the farm to the office, money talk is everywhere. But are you making sense or nonsense? The Bank of Jamaica brings you common sense with BOJ. Real stories, real laughs, and real lessons to help you protect, grow, and manage your money. Mattress savings.
At least my mattress. No charge me to sleep on it.
Partner plan.
Remember last year we needed our payouts early? But Miss Pam gave it to her cousin first.
Or a sketchy loan flyer.
Electrifying deals.
See why making the right financial choices is pure common sense. Brought to you by Bank of Jamaica, empowering everyday Jamaicans one episode at a time.
Grandpa, it's 2026. You can't keep hiding all your money in every single pocket forever.
So very much for sticking and staying with us. So we're having a robust conversation with Lorraine Finneking of the All Voice Taxi Association, and he's saying only 11% of taxi operators are driving poorly on the nation's streets. Do you believe that? I certainly don't. Mr. Finneking, you're back with us. Mr. Finneking, are you hearing us? Well, not hearing from Mr. Finneking there. Let's see if we can reconnect. Are you buying that argument from Lorraine Finneking? The rate at which we see taxi operators breaking the road code, if it is 11%, I'm willing to wager. Where did Mr. Finneking get this 11% from? We're trying to find it out. Hopefully we can reconnect with him. I gather the call has dropped. We're trying to reconnect with him in studio. And because I want to hear, when was this survey done? What was the sample size that Mr. Finneking is so proudly and with his chest bandying about this number of 11%? Do you believe it? I'm telling you, I'm not buying it. But let's see if we can put it to the sword when we get Lorraine Finneking to rejoin us. Only 11%. No, I just said, folks. That's what Mr. Finneking just said. Only 11% of taxi operators are driving poorly. And we, the media, he says, including people like me, he says, we are the ones giving all the taxi operators a bad name because of this 11%. Yeah. So we're trying to reconnect with him just to hear. Absolutely. And as I'm being told in my ear that, you know, we're going to very well be going out into the streets to see if we can get footage of this 11%. Yeah, we're going to put this 11% to the sword right here on CVM television. Have we managed to make contact with Mr. Finneking? All right. It might be that Mr. Finneking might not return. I doubt he's that kind of leader. I'm certain he'll rejoin us if he's able to. Mr. Finneking is usually one who answers the call and does these interviews. So hopefully we'll be able to be rejoined by him. But what do you think? Sound off in the comments and let us hear what you think. Do you believe it's only 11% of Jamaica's taxi population that is driving like they have absolutely no clue what the road code says, what the laws governing driving on the streets, what it says? That's how they drive. It's as if they are operating in an entirely different universe from the rest of us. It's absolutely mind-boggling. The lines in the street means nothing to them. They stop at will. They don't indicate. They're coming at you at breakneck speed, driving on the wrong side of the road. I've seen them even overtaking a line of traffic in the vicinity of a school where a pedestrian is. That's the kind of driving on the sidewalks, as I'm being told by people, by our director in studio. He's seen them. And I gather he's a famous cyclist. So he's a man who is always on his trans speed. They're driving on the sidewalk, he says, as well. But 11% is what Lorraine Finneking would have us believe. I want to see this survey. I want to see this survey. Just 11%. Do you believe it? Again, I'm telling you, without more, I don't. I'm not accepting that from Lorraine Finneking at all, that only 11%. And this notion that we should delay any at all the implementation of the demerit points system. Absolutely not. The non-movable offenses, let them stay as they are. As quickly as we can get these individuals off the nation's streets, the better it will be for all of us using the roadway. We're still trying to reconnect with Lorraine Finnegan of the All Voices Taxi Association, still not able to get through to him. But we're talking matters touching and concerning public transportation. It's a big deal, you know, this business of public transportation. And one of the things I think about very frequently, viewers, is when these, and it's usually taxi operators who do this. So you have 2 lanes, one going in either direction, and they're coming at you at breakneck speed on the wrong side of the road. They're assuming so many things about the person who is behind the wheel, pardon me, of the car that they're doing this to. They don't know these people from anywhere. They're not professionally trained drivers. What are they asking a young driver with a young license to do, somebody who might not be able to navigate certain situations? Look, we need to get rid of some of these people off the roads, and the demerit point system had better deliver on that promise, because that is the promise that we'll be able to snatch these licenses away from some of these individuals and prevent them from operating the weapons of mass destruction that they do on the nation's streets. And it's absolutely indefensible. And when I've even had interviews with some of these individuals where they even defend people overcharging passengers. Absolutely not. And that is a part of the reason why these taxi personnel, the ones that are breaking the law, because you do have law-abiding taxi operators, but the ones who are breaking the law, among the reasons they continue to operate with such impunity is because they're being defended like this. And we, the good people of Jamaica, need to rise up against this and insist that the government follows through with the implementation of this national demerit point system. October 1, not a day later. I would hope that it can happen sooner, yeah. But it appears we won't be getting Lorraine Finnegan to drill down into, well, I know. He's about to rejoin, well, gladly, because we'll give him, it shouldn't take 2 minutes for us to hear from him as to what really, where did he pull this 11% from? Who did this survey? Is this a survey that was done by All Voices or some other taxi association or by the ministry or the transport authority? Yes, we want to find that out. So Lorraine Finnegan, I gather we are about to reconnect with him. Have we been successful, studio? All right, still haven't been successful, and we're quickly running out of time. But please sound off in the comments, reach out to the Ministry of Transport and advise them of your views on this. It has to be that this national demerit point system takes place, becomes fully operational by October 1. Anything less would be unacceptable and uncivilized, quite frankly, is my view of this. We are quickly running out of time. It doesn't appear we're going to be rejoined by Lorraine Finnegan, so we're going to have to wrap it up right there. But I'd like to say this in closing about this issue concerning the national demerit point system. I want to repeat my position here on this issue. Look, it's been far too long. I would hope that we would have implemented it immediately and not delay it until October 1. But that is what the government has announced, and October 1 can't come soon enough. And we will be right here at CVM. We give you our commitment that we'll be policing this one, and we'll be hoping that it works and that people's license, after they've amassed the points, that it will be stripped from them, because we need to send a clear message to those who continuously drive poorly on the nation's streets. Also about the CCJ, before we leave, quite frankly, it is not the normal modus operandi for a court or its judges, those who sit on the bench of that court, to come forward and to be held accountable by the public. But this is 2026. It's the information age. It's the age in which people are able to demand accountability from the institutions that preside over their affairs and those that staff those institutions. And quite frankly, it is my humble opinion that the CCJ, the entire bench of the CCJ, should hold a media conference and address the issues that have been raised in this leaked email scandal that is rocking the CCJ. That's all we have time for tonight. I want to thank all the members of the production crews. Thanks to all of you for watching. At the top of the hour, it's the best news in the country, CVM News.
Internationally acclaimed On Stage with Winfred Williams.
At a new time, Saturdays at